All right, so I did my epi news item on circulating poliovirus in New York, new instance of an old problem, and it's a scholarly article from the New England Journal of Medicine and was published in 2022. Overview. In November of 2022, an outbreak of imported poliovirus was noted in New York City and became the first incidence of poliomyelitis in the United States in 10 years. The unprecedented event sent the US and UK into a downward spiral as they are experiencing outbreaks of imported poliovirus, similar to those that dozens of other countries have seen over the past 6 years. And it's for the same reason under vaccination. In the United States, the indigenous wild poliovirus, or WPVs, were most likely eliminated by the early 1970s, if not earlier, thanks to rapid improvement in vaccine coverage with the attenuated oral poliovirus vaccine. OPV is a live RNA virus, and due to this, it is genetically unstable and in rare instances can cause paralytic disease. In the United States, there were approximately 6 to 10 cases of this, and the US eliminated WPV, but not all diseases from poliovirus. Due to the WPV issues, the United States switched from OPV to the safe and effective inactivated poliovirus vaccine IPV. Vaccine-associated poliomyelitis, or VAPP, attributable to OPV use disappeared afterwards. Both the United States and the entire region of the Americas were declared free of indigenous WPV in 1994, and the UK, Israel, and the European region followed in 2002. This is a live OPV virus. In 2000, new risks associated with the prior OPV use were noted when an outbreak was caused by a vaccine strain that lost its attenuation purposes and began sustaining person-to-person transmission. This created vaccine-derived poliovirus, or VDPV, outbreaks that were identified in many countries, mostly low to middle-income countries, and it probably began as early as the 1980s, typically in populations with poor hygiene and poor vaccine coverage. Because the world has officially eliminated indigenous type 2 WPV by 1999, the only remaining type 2 poliovirus disease was caused by the 2 OPV, or OPV2, as had been the case in the United States before 2000. The rest of the world followed and stopped using OPV2 immunization in 2016. A few undetected type 2 VDPW or VDPV2 outbreaks remained, and monovalent OPV2 had to be used to stop them. Our author hypothesizes that since OPV2 use and poor vaccine coverage are the reason why VPV2 emerges, results in outbreaks, some of the outbreak vaccinations led to additional emergences of VTBV2 and the need to immunize further. This is a graph representing when they switched from trivalent OPV types 1, 2, and 3 to bivalent. And this is a polio vaccine preventable deaths in the US. And this is just vaccine associated and then total cases. And as you can see, vaccine associated are at the top. The current outbreaks in the United States and the United Kingdom and Israel were caused by genetically related circulating VDPV2 viruses that resulted from a single emergence event that started with OPV2. None of these countries used OPV2 for immunization, and the source most likely was an unidentified country that had recently used OPV2 to respond to its own outbreak. Where and when the emergence occurred remains unknown, but the 3 outbreaks probably began around early 2022. It is also still unclear how and when the virus spread among these 3 IPV-using countries. It's most likely hypothesized that since it was found in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Israel, that it was from traveling. It was found in the United States and Israel in the sewage samples. And in New York, it was found in a tight-knit community that had very low rates of immunization and had experienced previous numerous outbreaks of vaccine-preventable diseases. This community is similar to communities in parts of Africa that have experienced VDPV2 outbreaks. The risks of VDPV emergence, outbreaks, and spread are all associated with low vaccine levels. This just shows the United States and New York polio vaccine coverage among children's ages 24 months compared to those that herd to immunity. These current outbreaks in the United States are due to genetically related circulating VDPV viruses that resulted from a single event that started with OPV. Where and when these emergencies occurred is still unknown, yet they began in 2022, and it's still unclear how the virus spread. Two critical methods are being used to track these outbreaks, including molecular epidemiology, which is genetic sequencing of detected polioviruses. This will help us track the transmission and various relationship of the poliovirus disease and distinguish the origin of the virus. The second method is environmental surveillance used to investigate and monitor the outbreaks through polioviruses shedded feces found in sewages. The recent outbreak carries a key lesson. Polio is a global risk, and high-income countries are not immune to this. This is a timeline of patient activities, potential poliovirus exposures, shedding, and poliovirus-positive wastewater samples linked to a case of type 2 vaccine-derived poliovirus in New York from our case. The United States and the United Kingdom have the advantage of generally high polio vaccine coverage with IPV, which has preventable outbreaks in both countries and in most high-income countries for decades. So what do we do to improve global distribution of vital vaccination immunizations for endemic diseases like poliovirus in countries like Afghanistan and Pakistan where it is inaccessible? The solution to stopping all polio outbreaks globally is the same whether they are caused by WPV or VDPV vaccination. Continued support for the successful completion of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative is critical to eliminating the threat of any live poliovirus. And the challenge now is to stop all transmission and outbreaks to achieve global polio eradication. The absence of high vaccination coverage anywhere poses a risk everywhere.